Summary of Law of Impersonal Mind. We can well illustrate the whole process of being as it is becoming manifest, or the passing of spirit into form, in the principle of the stereopticon. The light represents spirit, or the originating source, or first cause, or even being. The slide or plate with the picture on represents the point of transition in which the undifferentiated light begins to differentiate itself. It must be remembered that the light is the same whether it be at the source, the center, or the end of the series. It is light always. Spirit is spirit always, no matter what form it may assume. But just as the prism will refract the rays of the sun into the cardinal colors and cast the rainbow on our desk, so the slide in the lantern will mold and form the light into the very form it will manifest on the screen. The slide represents our thought, idea, or image. What we choose, what we desire, what we expect, what we fear, what we believe, in these are the thoughts which mould and fashion being as it passes into manifestation in our lives. The lens by which the rays of light from the picture are concentrated represent the will. Using the word will as meaning choice, we find that we have the ability to choose what we shall hold as an image of thought. Using it as meaning concentration, we find that we have the gift of will or determination, which keeps the mind one-pointed until all be fulfilled. The light, then, which is creative mind, will keep working upon the model of our thought only so long as we hold the model before it. Being infinitely creative and impersonal, it will take any idea and begin to construct accordingly, and every word we speak and every thought we think is backed up by that power. It is the purpose of the will to insist that the mind shall hold on to its desire and its purpose until spirit has passed into the desired form. The picture on the screen corresponds to matter, body, conditions, form. It is being become manifest. It is spirit occupying space and time. Matter is spirit at its lowest level. So while we distinctly see a real picture on the screen, still the substance of it is light or spirit. How absurd to call it illusion, since it partakes of the eternal substance, and will persists so long as the thought persists. And if thought is not real, then nothing is real, and God is not real. I cannot conceive of God without thought. What I conceive is also his conception, since we are one, and as impersonal mind, he acts for me as my creative power. So, whatever I conceive will be registered on the screen, that is, my body and my affairs. Now, if the picture is faulty, what do we do? Do we say it is not there merely because we do not like it? No. Do we try to rub it out? No. We know that it is an effect produced by an antecedent cause. So when bodies are sick and poverty shows its gaunt face, if we are wise, we do not seek the remedy in the effect by beating the poor body, pounding or drugging it, or by rushing more madly into the world of competition and financial struggle to right our affairs. We are looking to the light and, If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So we center our whole thought upon the idea with singleness of purpose. Where then do we find the cause of the inharmonious picture? Not at the beginning do we find the error. The light is all right. Spirit is 100% perfect. It is perfect as substance all the way through. There is only one other place to look, and that is at the slide of thought, where light or spirit begins its transition into form. Here we find the error. We have a faulty image. Our conceptual faculty has been too low. Our pattern was imperfect. The light had to take the medium we provided. Spirit or creative mind shining on the just and the unjust with equal impartiality has passed through into manifestation. Spirit cannot do otherwise. To refuse its light to anyone is to deny one his individuality or power of self-choice, and thus to defeat its own ends. For man is a purpose of God. He is the object of divine love, and in him love seeks its own fulfillment. So it must have the love we choose to give it, or it cannot have love at all. We have thus studied the process of a demonstration when it is made from the standpoint of law acting under the impulse of our own thought. In this method, mind acts as the receptive and creative agent, but our own thought gives it its initial movement in our affairs. Our choice is all the will it has as impersonal mind. Thus, the enlightened soul performs a godlike act when he simply proposes to himself that his soul shall realize the divine mind at work upon his problem, and then chooses the pattern which it shall follow for his health, his supply, and his happiness. When the inspired mind of the individual reaches this point, he has learned how to pass over to spirit all the weight of labour. He forgoes all struggle, for he calmly voices his idea and knows that spirit not only will work things out for him to the definite conclusion, but is now working them out. Being is becoming manifest for him. While we may seek moments for quiet realization of the deep things of life and for concentrated thought upon any idea, yet we are not to suppose that the attitude of mind for merely half an hour will determine the issue. It is what we think all day that counts, and we can carry on all the mental activity while we are about our other affairs, if we wish. Our thought must be continuously right if our manifestations are to be so. We cannot expect being to continue to pass through our thought into expression if we choke up the channel. To choke the channel is to make another choice, and spirit will begin to work on the new idea, whether it is for our good or not. Finally, we would caution those who are always turning to the creative mind for things, only always impressing it for something. There is nothing wrong in the act itself, for the law is our servant, but its reckless use may lead to a sort of callousness to higher emotions and then degenerate into fakirism or worse. It may finally lead to magic, which is the destructive use of the law, or with even honest minds, it may create the habit of thinking of mind as merely a delightful grab bag from which something is to be extracted all of the time. This is fatal to the finer instincts, and it is in order to avoid this that we are told by no less a teacher than the great Master, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." In other words, he recognized, as we must, that creative mind is personal as well as impersonal, and we must seek to align ourselves with its onward movement and higher purposes if we are to realize the perfect joy of being. We have already considered the impersonal nature of mind. Let us, in the succeeding chapters, consider it as personal.